Welcome back to another segment of Iconic Konvo with
Diamond.
and Dijon Talk. So listen. Tonight, I got two things I'm super excited about.
What is it?
One is I just want to get this one out the way because I got a star in the building. But before I introduce the star, I got to bring the star that brought in the star. So yesterday was somebody's birthday. And they turned 16.
Yes, I did. That's
what they told me.
Sticking to it.
Now, James, I don't know how true that is. Michael, I don't know how true that is. But they told me they're 16. So I'm going to tell them stand way over there from me. You know what I'm saying? They're not of legal age. I don't want you close to me. But don't rub elbows on me. Anybody watching right now, I don't want... No, we ain't doing that today. Right?
I hear you.
But I want to take this opportunity to say happy birthday to my co-host. Thank you for another 365
Happy
around
birthday.
the earth with us.
Thank you, bro.
I pray that God continue to bless you exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask for. You are an amazing soul. I met you how long ago I met you? About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
2 years,
at a rap
actually.
concert
2 years
with
ago.
Cassidy
Yes.
and
Shout out
Charlie
to Cass.
Clips.
Battle rap,
Battle
Sonny.
rap.
Battle rap.
Right.
You know about that battle
You know,
rap.
that's what we would meet, right? We met at battle rap event.
All right.
She had her little mic, and then I was the guest, I guess, that day, and she was interviewing me.
Yeah,
Like,
he was VIP.
I don't know what that means, but
I mean, ain't that the only way to be?
Exactly.
I mean, if you ain't gonna be happy, why do it at all, right? But she introduced me to Cassidy. I never met him. I was a big fan of him when he first came out and stuff like that.
For sure.
So, and since then we've been friends. I mean, she's been a phenomenal friend. She's also my PR. So if y'all looking for a phenomenal PR, get at Michelle.
Hit her
Diamond,
up.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, she put me on stage with Gin and Wine. I mean, a lot of people can't do stuff like that. I mean, don't be making fun
That was
of
a
Gin and
double
Wine.
event too.
Huh?
Yeah, that was a double event.
Yes.
You see?
Remember James was there.
Yeah, I was there.
remember.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So she made me introduce James back at what's that club over there when he was a judge.
Oh, backstage.
Oh, yeah, backstage. Yeah.
You see?
Atlanta.
I've never met backstage, and I'm like, so I'm getting to meet people that I never thought I could meet before. You know what I'm saying? I'm at every Def Jam event now and today in America. I never thought I'd be at so much Def Jam events. But it's a
Yes.
blessings, right?
Yeah.
But
Shout out to Media Girls. Hey, y'all.
media
Yeah,
girls.
shout out to the media girls.
That just lets you know sometimes the environment you put yourself in is what's
Yeah.
going to produce your growth.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we can have that grind. We can have that grind. We may have all the skills. We may have all the desires and aspirations, but until you plug in,
Yeah, I mean, your network is everything.
your
Yes.
network will create
Yeah.
your net worth. So with that being said, James brought you a gift. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to make sure. I
we
wanted
got?
to make sure. Because I know you're a fedora girl.
Oh,
You know
she
what
got
I'm saying?
that clean fedora.
You know, I know you're a fedora.
Look at that.
Shit.
Look at
I
that.
know,
So,
like, I'm gonna have to steal it. Hey,
James brought you a gift, so I want to make
Look
sure
at that.
James got that to you.
You like the color?
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
And-
you, James.
I should have kept this for
Deja.
myself.
You know, I know you should have kept that for yourself.
I
So
love
James
it.
brought you for and then me and Michael, we got you these. I don't know which one Michael got you. I don't know which one I got you. Whatever it is, we got you
But
these.
it's a gift.
Happy birthday, my dude.
Okay.
It's a gift.
Okay.
I mean, the people want to see it now. So we know you're gonna be a millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? If
All
you ever smell
right.
millionaire,
Look,
bro,
no, I love
that thing
it.
smells
Look.
so.
Smells so
Oh, I know, I
good.
know.
It's
Yeah.
it
Look,
is
she
crack-
over here getting
All right,
getting fly gifts.
Let's see. I mean,
Let
we
me
got a
see,
star
let
in the
me
building,
see
so
what's go- Ooh, and I have. Oh,
You know what I'm
this
saying?
is so cute with my initials.
I heard you like the bling, so you know what I'm saying?
Oh, she got that bling.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
We're
Michael,
doing
that
this-
was so nice.
You know, Michael from Michelle. You know, Michael, she loves her chain. Appreciate you, Michael. She loves her chain.
Look, she got more bling than me.
She got more bling than me. I got
Damn.
raggedy gold. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
She got more bling than me. I got the raggedy gold on, so
Lord
I
have
can't
mercy.
bling like that. You can't bling that.
You know
so
what,
we just
man?
want to
Look,
tell you we appreciate
I gotta,
you.
You
see
guys
now,
are so
now you got to
funny.
make me turn up, man.
my
I got to throw the
She
shades
got the shades
man.
on.
You see,
You know what I'm
man?
saying?
'Cause
She's too bright up in here, right?
yeah, she's too bright, man.
She too bright over
She's too
here.
bright.
Look, thank you, James. Thank you, Dejan. Thank
You're
you,
welcome,
Michael,
you're
for allowing
You're
this to
welcome.
happen.
We just want to show you how much we appreciate you. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for what you do for the community, the domestic violence abuse that you deal with. I mean, you're always there when somebody needs you, when people is in the hospital, when people pass away. I mean, you are the call agent for everybody. So I feel like in this season of your life, as you see another year around the sun, it is our time to celebrate you. So happy birthday, Michelle.
Thank
Happy
you
birthday.
So much.
Such a beautiful spirit.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all know that's my brother, y'all. Okay.
All right.
In the house, media brother, media connoisseur, love him. And of course, you know, this is just icing on top of the cake to have you here with me because I'm still celebrating. You know, I'm just appreciative for life. And I'm not going to take up too much of this conversation about me, but just know that I'm filled with much gratitude because, hey, I have some amazing people in my circle. And with that said, we're going to get right into it, Mr. James Worthy. You better recognize King
So we
James
have
Worthy.
what's
we
up with it?
have Grammy nominee. You gotta
Yes.
put some respect on his
Oh,
name.
yeah, put some spec on it.
Put some respect on the man name.
Respect.
We have Grammy nominee, All-Star,
Hey, get
Mr.
with it.
James
Hey.
Worthy in the building. Okay,
Hey.
Michael.
Hey.
I see you on the
I
ones and
see you.
twos.
I see you.
Welcome
What's
to
up, y'all,
Iconic
man? Thank
Konvo,
you for
my
having
brother.
me. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for having us, and thank you for joining us this evening. It is an honor to meet
it's
you
a pleasure.
again.
It's a
Thank you
pleasure.
for being here. You're doing a lot of great things. So I don't know if somebody don't know you. Maybe they've been under a rock. Who knows? Maybe they didn't have internet. It's okay.
It's all right.
We
It's
forgive
all right.
them, but they're gonna get to know you today.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So for people that don't know, who is James? Who is James?
Who is
Worthy?
James? Man.
So who are you, sir? Let give the people a peer
Who
review
am
of who you are.
I? Man, these days I feel like I'm just getting more complex as the days go.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that either.
But man, I am from Queens, New York.
Okay, Queens in the building.
Queens in the building.
Okay.
I've always just been a creative. You know what I mean? Always been a fan of the arts. Always been a fan of entertainment. Started off as a songwriter, turned music producer, turned recording artist, turned business owner, turned actor.
Yes.
Word.
Just a lot of things. You know, I never wanted to be locked to one thing. I've always just wanted to do different things in entertainment. And, you know, I guess that just comes from experiencing so many different things at a young age and just being around a lot of different things young and traveling the world and, you know, all those things. So it's been a blessing.
Listen, he's downplaying a little bit, so let me hype it up. I'll be his hype man because I need a new job after today. So I'm going on tour as the hype man. I'm that dude. I'm
Let's
that
get to
Flavor
it.
Crunk.
Let's get to it.
All right, so
I can't,
in case you
y'all.
guys don't know, top 10 Billboard.
Of course.
You know, do you know how hard
Yeah.
that is to do? Do you know the level of competition?
Actually, you know, I'm piggyback off of
Go
that.
do your thing.
That's very hard to do on your very first song you
That's
were
what I
ever
wanted to
on.
get you to do. That's what I wanted to get you on the very first
Very
song
first.
ever.
Do you see me applauding?
Like that's it. Kind of trips me out still to this day. Like that's the first time anybody ever heard me sing on a record ever
Crazy,
in life.
son. Wow.
In life,
In top 10.
and that debuted at number 10 on Billboard.
Yes.
God.
So I think
Three-time.
I really shocked the industry with that. Like it was
Three-time
like, how
Grammy
did he do
nominee
that?
though, right?
Yes.
How did that feel to be at the Grammys and to say, damn,
Here.
my name
it
is
was
being mentioned?
It was two feelings. One was, of course, I was happy and grateful and excited and all that. But then also it was kind of like, well, it's about time.
And I like that. So tell me a little bit about why you got to that point where you're feeling that this is my time. What was your creative process like to get to that moment, and what inspired you to even become a singer-songwriter?
Because I've been putting in so much work since a very young age. I got into the industry when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been fortunate enough to just been able to work alongside and work with and be in the company of so many great musicians and artists and et cetera, and have those opportunities and, you know, just be able to get placements and get different things at such an early age that when the Grammy stuff came about, it was like, wow, I've been a part of so many great projects and classic projects that I feel like I deserve it. You know, it wasn't just like something out of the blue, like I just popped up out of nowhere and, you know what I mean? Like this was years and years and years of work, you know? But also too, you know, I'm grateful because not everybody can get that opportunity. And, you know, how my career has played out, like, I feel like nobody could have done it like me because, you know, I'm all about divine timing and I'm also about, you know, the stars align how they align, and that's God's work. You know what I mean? So it's not something that I said, okay, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. You know, I'm going to do this and do that. Like I might have aspirations, but you know, sometimes things don't work out that way.
Right.
But I think God always had a plan for me, and it's just been working out that way.
I like that.
So you said, you know, it was about time, and I like that statement, right?
And God has a plan for
And
you.
God has a plan for me because, you know, that appointed time is crucial.
Yeah.
Right. How long were you behind the scenes making everybody else great?
Exactly.
Because some people don't know that, right?
Yeah.
So when you pap out, oh, this guy, what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So everybody gonna vibe to it. You know, when the new artists come out and then they have a high level of success, especially when it's their first song, first
Yeah,
album, whatever
yeah.
it is. You know, light that flame, gas them up, right?
Yeah.
And it's great. But people only look at the result, but don't look at the process,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And they don't know how much they've already heard you before,
That's true.
just not through your mouth.
That's true.
Amen.
That's true.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
So,
Yeah.
you know, take us on that path real quick.
Yes.
Of, you know, what did that back work look like? Who were the people that you were pushing behind the scenes that were singing your stuff, and people they probably didn't even know, and then
Yeah.
finding when you're opportunity because they saying, oh, who's this guy? But then you were putting a lot of other people on.
I was. Man, so where do I even want to start?
Wherever you choose.
Okay, so just to backtrack a little bit, I didn't become a solo artist until 2018.
Word.
Before that, I was in a group. Myself and another gentleman. His name is International Nova. Our name was Kings X2, and that was the single that we put out, which was called "Wine for Me" through the group, and that was the one that charted Billboard. So that was the first time I ever decided to become an artist.
Got you.
Period. Right. But before that, I was doing just production and writing and film scoring and stuff like that, you know, for a lot of artists. So, you know, the people that didn't quite know me as an artist knew me as a songwriter and a producer. So
Big fact.
a lot of people know me for working with, you know, Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston
Yep.
and Justin Bieber and Fetty Wap and PM Dawn and Robin S. And, you know, just a vast majority of people in different genres. So that was really my thing, is just working in all genres. So that was just the beginning, you know. A lot of people didn't realize that in the very beginning of my career, I was working with Swisher House Records in Houston, which is totally
Different.
left field.
I'm like, that's all like, wait.
Yeah, that's
Totally left
Okay,
field,
yeah.
but that was, you know, the humble beginnings. And then, you know, after that, you know, you just slowly climb up the ladder, right? And that's just what I was doing.
So for nosy people, because the movie Whitney Houston just came out not that long ago, I'm nosy. You ain't see it in theaters. It just came out recently.
I have not seen it
was
for
not-
various reasons, but
I was not a big fan of it, only because of the light that was projected. But I guess it was a real light that I didn't know, because you know we only get to see what's in front of us.
that's true.
I believe the children of the future was what I was raised on.
Right.
So I was stuck on that, and that's the viewpoint that I wanted to keep to have.
Right.
Because it was a positive one for me. Right. When I looked at her, you know, just everything positive came out of it for me, minus obviously the telling of her life. Right. So when you work with people like Bobby, you know, the bad boy of entertainment back then,
Right.
bad boy of it, then you work with somebody like Whitney. How was that experience for you as an upcoming artist, a writer? How did that play with you with dealing with, how do you write for two different mindsets? Two different vocal ranges.
Yeah,
two different.
it's two
like,
different-
That takes a level of
Two
skill.
different
that's-
worlds,
It's
really.
two
Like,
different
that's
genres,
that's
Yeah.
skill. Because if you told me you play with you work
It's
for
like
Bobby
day and
Brown,
night.
and then you told me another bad boy person, man, okay, that's easy. But you talk about you went from Bobby to Whitney.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Bro,
Nice.
that is range, right?
Yeah,
So how
that's-
was that experience for you? How was that working with those people?
Oh man, that whole time was just so crazy and interesting and et cetera. But basically how that happened was Bobby Jr., which was Bobby Brown's son, rest in peace. Me and him kind of grew up together
Gotcha.
when we were early teens. Like I met him actually in Atlanta at the time, because Bobby had a house in Atlanta.
Right.
Word.
Whitney as well. They were living together, of course. And, you know, he used to own a recording studio in Atlanta called Bosstown, which is now Stankonia.
I got schooled.
Oh, you guys didn't know that? Oh, wow.
I got schooled. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That used to be owned by Bobby Brown. So,
Wow.
you know, I used to see him around, and I got close to Bobby Jr. And you know, he wanted to do music, of course, you know, like his father,
Of course.
but he always had the notion of not being in his father's shadow.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I say, well, I agree with that. You know, I want you to have your own identity, your own sound, right? So I was pretty much just building his sound and building his direction and who he wanted to be as an artist. So we were both helping each other, you know, just build up to have our own thing. And I met Whitney through him, and I met Bobby through him, and we all just kind of came close. And that's how I, you know, got a chance to work with both. And, you know, it was a close-knit thing, you know, so we all worked together. Like, I remember I had produced a mixtape called Champagne Nightmares for Bobby Jr., and I had his dad host it.
That's dope.
Whole, I think it was like 18, 20 songs on it.
Damn.
And yeah, it was just a great time. It was a great time. It was very challenging though, because it was just so much going on around the Brown family and the Houston family, and so many different stories coming out, and this person said this and he did that, and you know, the drug stuff. It was just so much going on. So it was just kind of like, after a while, the music was just overshadowed just by the nonsense. And you know, again, rest in peace to Bobby Jr. You know, it trips me out because you know, me and him had lost touch for a while, and you know, 5 days before he passed, we reconnected. And we were working on his debut album. And you know, he passed away. So yeah, it was rough.
That's something.
Yeah.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
So what pushed you to go from behind the scenes to in front of the lens, to being seen? Because you could have made a good living behind the scenes.
Yeah,
A lot of people
absolutely.
make a great living from it. I mean, Beyonce because of people behind the scenes.
That's
Mariah's
true.
Mariah because of people behind the scenes. Let's be real about this, right?
That's
a
true.
lot of people. I mean, people don't know how much stuff 50 Cent wrote for a lot of these artists.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh,
look
yeah.
at 50 like, oh, you just. Do you know how much stuff 50 wrote for people?
Oh yeah, I know.
And
I know.
people would probably never know unless he opens up his big mouth and say it, right? So there's a lot of stuff you can do behind the scenes and have a really good life, right? I think we heard from Billy the Kid, was Billy Gibb, whatever he calls himself now. He was one of the biggest things because when he was writing for Lil Wayne, that was his biggest issue.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting the credit for the work, and Lil Wayne was 500 Degrees was one of the hottest albums. Then you had the Carter, and Gilly's like, yo, you know, my pen
That's what
is
I wanna
serious.
hear.
You know,
That's
my pen,
true.
My pen is
A
serious.
lot of
so-
people don't know. Like,
So what are the pros and cons?
Yeah, so why did you move from the shadow to the light, and what are
pros
some of
and
the
cons.
challenges?
well, you know, again, I'm a creative, you know, so I've always been one to just do what I wanted to do and express myself and however I wanted to express myself. But I always knew that I had a voice. I always knew that at some point I was going to be an artist. It's just that it had to be the right time. And, you know, I always tell people this is like, I could never had came out as an artist years ago because I didn't have enough behind me. I didn't have enough experience. I didn't have enough leverage, you know? So it's all about building up until you get to that plateau of, okay, now I can do it, you know? So that's always been me. Like, cause I've always been around the OGs. I've always been, you know, around the greats, and I've had mentors to teach me things, and for me to soak up the knowledge, and, you know, and also bump my head a couple times and understand what I need to do and what I don't need to do, right? So me stepping back and learning and not being so quick to just jump out and do things is what made me wait. And I'm like, okay, well, I think this is the time. So after the group thing, that's when I knew that, okay, obviously there's some type of demand, because we would have never made it that far if it wasn't. Right? So once I went solo, I mean, I had a chance to work with Houdini on my first single.
That's dope.
You know, so it's like that right there in itself to me was just like, I mean, not many people can even say that. Well, really, nobody, you know, or even have that type of opportunity. So, you know, after that, it was go time.
You know what was crucial about what he said, Diamond? Was he said, obviously he had the skill set, because you write for Whitney, you better have some damn skills. Let's be real. You know how picky Whitney was?
Oh yeah.
It's just like I know I was there for
You know how much songs was presented to Whitney? Like, nope,
yeah.
nah.
To
no.
any of them.
Huh?
To any of them.
Exactly. I mean, for people that don't know, that it's hard to put a song in front of Whitney and make her sing it, because she loved to be challenged.
Yeah.
She loved to be challenged, right? And she didn't just want to sing inside. And again, those emotional roller coasters she was going through, she wanted to reflect that a lot of the times in the music, right? So you had to meet her there, right? But what I liked about what you said was the fact that it's not just about waiting for the time, it's that learning curve.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people got talent. They can write, they can sing. Then they get pushed in front of the lens prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see that huge failure and that decline. Because they don't know the business.
They don't know the business, and they're not prepared for what comes with stardom or success.
And I like that. No, because what I've come to realize, and I've spoken to many artists, and I'm going to pose this to you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you also in agreement with, in the music industry, it's 98% business and 2% talent?
I totally agree with that.
Damn.
Totally agree with
Those
that.
are some atrocious odds. Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean,
98% business,
98%.
Yeah, I mean,
2%
you know,
talent.
2% talent.
well, you know, you got to think about it.
Wow.
You know, it's like that because the playing field of music is so diluted right now, and it's so many artists coming out every day, and there's songs coming out every day, right? Whether it's good or bad, and for someone to break through and really have a shot at making it or making some type of impact, not everybody's gonna have it. Not everybody's going to have that opportunity. So it's always going to be a crazy ratio, because it's either you have it or you don't.
Exactly.
Right? That's what the labels look for.
Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. Whether people think that you can sing or you can rap good or whatever, it's about who can make the most money, who can sell the most records, who can make the most impact, who's the most popular, right? That's the whole game. It's because I think what people miss is at the end of the day, it's a business. The business is their whole objective is to make the money. So if they feel that by them getting in business with you is not for them and making money, then you're a lost cause. Right? So that's why we see an artist that can get signed, put out one hit, and then they get dropped because they can't produce anymore. They can't follow up.
And I like that.
Or their next album flops because there really wasn't any preparation or growth with the artist. It's just that they came out so hot because there was so
One
much
hit
put into
wonder.
them and so much money and resources that they couldn't follow up with the same.
The same energy on album
Yeah.
too. Because very few people are having 2 or 3 albums nowadays. You get that one album and that's it.
Yeah.
But nobody makes money in no one album or 2 albums.
Yeah.
You got to break 3, 4 before you even
Yeah,
start
so-
seeing any profit.
So now artists have to do their due diligence in understanding the landscape of business now and how labels are actually conducting business
Thank you.
and what you don't need to sign and what you do need to sign. But if you are exercising the option of signing to a label, understand what that means. Understand that they're not in your best interest.
That's true.
It's all about how you work your deal. So if you're gonna sign the 360, understand what a 360 is.
Exactly.
That 360?
Understand.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Horrible.
You know, that's just the nature of the game, right?
Wow.
But also, you know, anything is reworkable if you can produce results, right?
That is so
So if you're signing to a label, you sign a 360, okay, that's where you are right now. But if you can actually sell and show results and etc., now you have legs to stand on.
right.
Now you can go in and work your game a little bit more than the beginning, right? Because now you can walk and say, hey, I got a platinum single, I got a platinum album, great tour,
Proving myself. Hmm.
great numbers. Like, what can we do?
So true.
And that's how it's always been. It's just a different business model now, but the structure of business has never changed.
For you, did you find that from behind, did you see that you had, because you learned the business, a higher level of success than other new artists that was coming out the same time you were coming out because you took the time to understand it from the back end as a writer? Because some people were never writers.
Yeah.
They got somebody saw them somewhere, somebody heard them. I think you have the star, whatever the it factor,
Right.
And we could do something with you, right? But you had the infield experience. You saw the business, good and bad side of the business.
Yeah.
How did that measure with you as a new artist compared to other people? And what did you learn from the industry when you were behind the lens? For you personally.
Well, for me personally, like, I mean, I feel like I had a one up because again, I
Word.
was working with the greats. I
Word.
was working with so many styles of artists to where like I understood not only how to make music and make hit records, but understand what goes on in those back rooms to make those hit records be hit records.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all I did was apply those things into my own brand. And by me doing that was a big reason why, the Billboard thing happened. And it also was a big reason why I feel like my trajectory has been quite different from other artists coming from being a producer and a songwriter because of those things, right? But then again, it's all about trial and error too. Like everybody's story is different. Like I can't tell somebody that they can do exactly what I did because it may not work for them.
That's true.
So all I can do is move how I move, but I've just been so grateful enough to have just great experiences throughout my whole career thus far because it's just like it's kind of it's crazy when you think about it, like
With that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to be right back with Mr. James Fortune on Iconic Konvo with Diamond and
Yes.
DeJohn Talks. Great. open
we
the
got
floor.
stuff
Do your
to get
thing.
into.
Yeah. Now we talk shit. Open
We
the floor.
are back for this amazing interview with my brother, Mr. James Worthy, and of course, Dejan.
The bad boy, the hype man. Yeah, put some respect on my name.
Put some
Put some
respect.
respect on my name. Y'all know what it is.
Yes. So before we get into the nitty gritty, I just wanted to take it back a little bit for inquiring minds. So taking it back to the younger James back in Queens, New York. Hey, you knew I had to go there, right?
Yeah, New
because
York.
he's like, every week you bring me everybody from New York.
Everybody from New York on our show. New York just moves out. Everybody from New York moved to ATL.
I mean, it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
So what was it like, though, for James being young? And how did you start with this whole creative process and getting into music yourself at that young age?
Okay, so I don't really come from a musical family, but music was always in the house and music was always around, right? So, you know, I was always listening to jazz and, of course, hip hop and house music, dance music, like, you know, just different styles. And I was just always into it. You know, I was just, something about the rhythm was just always it for me, right? So I remember I used to go to this record store every weekend at the Coliseum in Queens. And I would just like go to the record store and just like buy albums I never heard and, you know, read the credits and, you know, just be a nerd, right? So that was my thing, is just figuring out who did what, researching them, learning about them, you know, learning about how to actually make music and write songs. And, you know, that's the beginnings of it, right? So once I started getting into that, I had a chance to meet my idol, which was Michael Jackson.
You met Mike?
I met Mike when I was 11.
I knew it was important. See, guys, I read your minds. We
my
took
dude
it
met
back
Mike?
for a reason.
I met Mike when I was 11 years old.
Yeah, I love me some Mike.
I met Mike at Webster Hall.
Word.
I did.
Amazing.
My dude's a legend.
Yeah.
So how was that for you?
Amazing. I mean, you know, at 11 years old, like meeting somebody like that is crazy, but it's like you don't even really know how to feel. Like I was just happy to be there, right? And just to see him up close.
Right.
And I remember it was a standing room only event, right? And I'm at the stage right here.
Yeah.
And I'm like right here. The news crew is right next to me, and girls is like behind me fainting. And oh my God,
That's Mike, bro.
So you know he's on because this night he was accepting an award.
Okay.
And you know he gets on stage and he says his speech and everybody's falling out. Oh, Michael Jackson. So my dad used to do security work for a lot of celebrities back in the day.
Okay, cool.
So he's the one that had that plug to get in there. So,
I see you, Mike.
Yeah, shout out to Mike.
Mike.
So we got backstage to the green room, and you know I had a chance to meet him in the green room, and you know it was just amazing because you know we had a short convo with him, and he was just so down to earth and so nice.
Word.
And you know he put his arm around me and you know just embraced us, and you know that right there was just like, you know, to me, once in a lifetime opportunity, you know, not only to just meet Mike, but meet your idol.
Meet your idol, yeah.
And then also, too, it uplifted me and inspired me because I'm like, okay, if I can do this, I can do a lot, right?
Big facts.
And, you know, that kind of was the spark of me saying that I wanted to be in entertainment because of that. And, you know, it was go time. I told my dad, hey, look, I want to do music. Like I want to be in the arts, you know, whatever that might be, you know, because really at that time I didn't really know if it was music or not. I just wanted to be in entertainment, right?
To be a part of it.
Yeah. So whatever that would be as time moved on, I would figure that out. But that moment right there was kind of like, okay, all right.
That's your defining moment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Now, you know, you said something crucial, and I'm glad you brought that point up, Diamond, is because at 11 years old, my son come to me and talking about I'm going to entertainment industry as a black father raising 2 black men in America. My answer would have been no, because of my ignorance. And I'll put that out there, right? because I know that society pushes our kids down two narratives: entertainment and sports. So my answer would have been no, because I would have been that crazy dad. I'd be like, maybe some stats. Did you know only 5% of black millionaires and billionaires are in entertainment and sports? Did you know the other 95% of us are in business, tech, stem cells, and why don't you join the 95?
Right.
Go get your education. And we just talked about this before the show, right? About acquiring all this debt that you're probably never going to be able to pay off, right?
Right.
So that would have been my natural response, my old self, my ignorant self, because I didn't know any better. Obviously, as I'm growing up in this industry, I'm learning more. I'm learning of depths, because I grew up in a culture where you're going to be teacher, lawyer, doctor, or engineer.
Let
Exactly.
me just reiterate.
Y'all remember those
Let
four
me
pillars?
just reiterate.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
98% business and 2% talent.
This is true, but we don't know
That's
about that
true.
until now. You're right, but I didn't
That's
know about.
true.
I just
It's
knew
true.
the entertainment.
I know.
But now I know, right? So this is how I was raised. You're gonna become one of these four things, or nurse. One of these four things,
Doctor, lawyer.
right? And that's it, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm hearing that, how was your parents' response to that statement, and how did they either nurture, support? What was the challenge, and how did it project from that place? Because a lot of parents nowadays, they have kids right now in your position.
Yeah.
And they're probably telling me, listen, shut that junk up, go to school. You better bring, I want to hear this
Yeah,
mess, bring home.
talk to
Because
the
that's
parents and the
important.
kids right
Yeah,
now.
because talk to the parents.
And the kids, so that they will stay their course.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. I think that's like you said, sometimes the parents can be ignorant to that fact, right?
Most def.
And it's usually that's the traditional way. Like, you're either going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever, right?
Right.
But, I think in today's time, there's so many things we have access to for people to be entrepreneurs and be business owners and have different streams of income and different things like that, to where, like, I think some of that is it's not going away, but it's kind of fizzled a little bit because, people starting to see results in
Most
other
definitely.
ways, right? But with my situation, they kind of, said the traditional things, but they also knew that I was passionate about what I wanted, right? So I did go to school, but I went to school for music.
Dope.
So, I went to Atlanta Art Institute. I went to Full Sail for a while. I've got certifications in other places. So, I've done the education as well. But me personally, if looking back in hindsight, like, I think I would have moved differently with that, because I do feel that experience is your most important teacher.
Big facts.
And what I'm kind of seeing now with these schools is
Speak on it,
Come
man.
on, speak on it.
Don't-
Listen,
don't
this is
hold no punches.
Iconic Konvo for a reason.
Yeah. Don't
we
hold
bring
no
the
punches.
real.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
We punch
Like,
people in faces around here,
I'm
man.
gonna keep it 100. A lot of these schools
My bad.
it's a little bit of a money grab.
It is.
It is.
It's a money grab,
is.
and you really don't get what you really, really need out of it. Like, I would recommend someone doing a trade versus going the traditional route. Right? If I would have known that in hindsight, I would have did that.
Because you end up in a lot more debt.
Yeah. And it ain't no joke.
I still got principals and doctor friends 20, 30
We're not
years. They're
even-
still
we're not
paying
even sorry. But
student
that-
loans.
You see?
I'm glad you.
You see what I mean? So, and especially in entertainment, see, that's another thing. Like, I think traditional college might work for the traditional job. It doesn't necessarily work for entertainment.
Industry.
Like, that's more of experience. Like, you got to be in the field. You got to work with people. You got to travel. You got to do different things.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
To me, entertainment is not really worth it going to college for. Like, that's experience.
It is based on what?
Experience, relationships. You got to meet people, travel. I mean, you can't sit in a classroom and and experience that.
Consistency as well
Let's
within
throw some-
those circles.
Let me throw some examples out there for people that don't know. So people love to throw out the name Diddy. I'm gonna throw him out there because it's just a prime example of what we're talking about, right? Diddy dropped out of college. Now, he was a very smart guy, but he dropped out. He realized that traditional educational route was not going to get him to the entertainment that he wants.
Yeah.
So he started working for free in the field that he wanted to be in. I'll do this. Coffee boy, whatever you need. Dance, I'll do whatever. Do the beat, just get me in here, right?
Right.
But he's watching and learning throughout the whole time. Somebody lost their position. I know what these kids want. I can do it. I know what they want. Now we're talking about billionaire Diddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, since you took it there, and you're talking about experience and seeing things and so forth, I know you've had so many experiences in the music industry and working with amazing people, and we've heard so many stories about your content being taken by others, or just not getting credit where credit is due. Give me some examples of that and how you've overcome that.
Oh man, that's
really making
that's
me
a
go
big
in
one.
there. Yeah,
Because I mean, right now it's a content game, and I'm always preaching ownership. Like content creators or creators in general need to own their work.
Correct.
Whether you're an artist, whether you're a songwriter, whether you're a YouTuber, whether you're a filmmaker, whatever it is that's content, like you need to own it. And it's just so unfortunate that, for someone to try to get to another level or just another level, it's like you have to almost compromise that to get it. Like you have to give your work to get something. And I'm like, where do they do that at?
Good question. So you want me to give you stuff?
Don't pull his strings.
but it's
True stuff.
But see, this is nothing new. Like this has been going on for decades. It's nothing new. Like creatives have been taken advantage of for decades. I think we're just in a different time. We're in a digital era. We're in a digital space to where like anybody can say anything, anybody can do anything, anybody can take anything. And really it comes down to, can you fight it to do something about it?
Right.
And if you can't fight it, then it's kind of like you can't beat the beast. You can't beat the machine. And that's the sad part.
So you've had experience in the industry. Right? Some have been good, some have been bad behind the lens. As you look at the future of James, and if you could give advice to people that's trying to be like you, because a lot of people want to be you. They saw your success, they see your journey, and they're like, a lot of people relate to you. They're like, I can mock that. I can be the 2.0 version, the 3.0 version of that. Because I'm learning, because as you're learning from Michael and other people that you've worked with, people are following your breadcrumbs and they're following your shadow. They're going to step into those shoes.
Yeah.
There's a 19-year-old right now that's listening to you and be like, I want to be like this guy, right? Yeah. But he's inspiring nonetheless,
Yes,
right?
Of course.
So, which is beautiful.
Humble.
to be
Thank
in a
you.
position to inspire is an amazing position to be in, right?
Very amazing.
It is, because you were inspired
And
at
to
11,
do it with humility.
which is, and if you guys never met this guy, as much as I'm giving him as much clout which he deserves because he's earned it.
Thank you.
But if you've ever had a conversation with this young man, it is the most meek and humble person. It's like, why are you not in like Beyonce, bro? You know what I'm saying? Why are you not treating me like that? And I know people that doesn't
Don't
even have
the Beehive
a
coming for
tenth
us.
of your accomplishment, right? Listen, Beehive, I love you. Leave me alone, right?
I don't want no smoke
I don't
with
want
that.
no smoke, Jay-Z. I don't want no smoke. I seen what y'all did the trick. I don't want no smoke. All right?
Oh,
I don't want
gosh.
it. But they don't have a tenth of what you've accomplished, and you can't even talk to these people, bro, right?
Yeah.
So, I believe in educating the next generation, right? Because to me, what is success if we can't duplicate it? To me, that's useless.
That's true.
No offense. The mountain is lonely at the top. if you can't have somebody come up there with you. If you can't reduplicate the process, all right. So my example is we got Dre, we got Eminem, we got 50. Dre went through the hard grind. He learned something, good and bad. And, hey, leave the beehive away. I don't want no pressure.
No smoke.
No smoke. I ain't trying
smoke.
to disappear tomorrow, Michael. I don't want no smoke. I know it.
I ain't trying to get canceled, man.
Yeah, man, I don't want no problems. My money ain't big enough, bro. Right? And then, from Dr. Dre, you get M.
Right.
But from M, you get 50. And so much people eat as from generation to generation, right?
Yeah.
But you got to reduplicate that process, right? So as you go through this journey, it's been quite a lengthy journey for you, it's a very blessed one at that. What have you learned from the industry that you can share with the people coming in? And if you had advice from industry to independent, hey, everybody has a biased opinion. You can give yours. You can choose not to. But what would you tell the person that's trying to be like you on how to maneuver in this industry?
That's a good question. I would say, from what I've learned throughout this game is you got to be patient and you got to be consistent.
I like that.
And you have to take the ego out of things and be willing to not only learn, but listen.
Yes.
Because if you don't listen, there's a lot of things that could be missed that can help you along down the line, right? And those are the things that I had to learn. And also keeping up with the times. Like, things are constantly changing, not only in the world, but also in the music business. Like, how music is now is not how it used to be. So if you're not current and you're not, up on how business is structured, you're going to have a hard time. You know what I mean? So, I would say those as anybody just trying to get in the business, like, just understand how business is right now and understand who you want to be in this business, because it's not an overnight game. You are competing against a huge pool of artists and producers and songwriters. And it's really the simple thing of, what are you doing that they're not?
Right.
What do you have that is going to cut through? Like, those are things that I had to figure out. And, as time progresses, it's a learning curve,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's trial and error. So once you start learning things within the trial and error, you'll start to figure it out. But I think the biggest thing of it all is not trying to follow other people. Just being your own person. Authenticity is the greatest thing that you can ever have. Because by you being that authentic, you're creating a blueprint for others to follow.
Big facts.
You never want to be the follower. You want to be the leader.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And that's always been my thing. I've always wanted to be the leader. So, with those things in your mind, you'll be okay. Just don't try to be anything else but yourself.
I like it.
I love it. And speaking about cutting through and that curve, tell us about this journey. And we're here, I love the other stuff that you did with Trey Songz, but we're hearing new music. We're hearing a lot of stuff, the little buzz out there. I'm like, hold
Little
up,
buzz,
I want
5
you,
million buzz.
Excuse me, I wanted him to
Alright.
emphasize that when he began to
Put some
speak.
respect on the
Stay
buzz.
in your lane, okay? Look, no, seriously, like, I'm all hype about it because I'm going through it. Of course, you hit me up. You're like, hey, sis, listen to this. I was just like, oh. Got it. Look, I was like, hey, ooh,
I had to let you know. I had to let you know.
What? Okay, I was so ready. Look, I had mine out before anybody else got theirs. Okay,
Don't be bragging.
I'm
Don't be bragging.
I'm just saying.
Don't be doing that. Don't do
But
that.
tell us about the hype and how it all started.
Yeah, so I got this new project out called Gip and Worthy. Myself and Big Gip.
Congratulations.
Legendary Goody
Yes.
Mob. You know what I mean? Dungeon Family. And Gip is just such a great guy.
Yes.
He's like one of my mentors, my OG, big brother. And really, man, we've been working on this project for some months now. Just perfecting it. It's only a 5-song EP, but the way it's being perceived, people really think it's an album.
I know.
It's the crazy part.
It could
It really could be, you know, the
Why
way,
not?
but you know,
Realistically,
with the
from
layout.
what I heard,
we wanted it
yes.
to kind of have that feel because I just didn't want it to be the whole, all right, we just threw out an EP and whatever. Like, you know, we wanted this to have such an energy around it, kind of like the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
you know, even by the album cover, like we wanted it to have that 90s feel to where when you see it, you're like, ooh, that's it's simple, but it's
Yeah.
different, right? But also, just what we're talking about. We're talking about life, love, and experiences,
Exactly.
right? And not only this is a new experience artist wise for me, but also for Gipp because it's the first time people are hearing him talk to women like that.
Exactly.
Like him coming from Goody Mob is street, is anti, is rugged, you know? So it's a whole new experience for both of us, which is, you know, the great part about it. And you know, we was just telling the story the other day how me and Gipp met, and literally me and Gipp met while I was having a studio session with Corrupt. Corrupt was at my studio. We were working on this record called Top of the World, which
Right.
ironically is our single now.
Right.
Word.
And man, we were in the studio working on it. I had just recorded the hook. Corrupt did his verse. He came out the booth and he said, James, what do you think about putting Gipp on this record? And I hadn't met Gipp yet. So I'm like, that's different. Like, I would love to see what Gipp sounds like on this style of record because I have never heard him on this style of a track
music,
before.
Exactly.
So he said, okay, I'm going to call him. He called him. Gipp came through about 30 minutes later.
Damn.
Came in there, dapped us up, sat down on that couch and wrote the
Started
verse
pinning
right
down,
on the
yeah.
spot. So all of us became on this record, right? So 2-3 days later, Corrupt called us and, hey man, I'm going back to Vegas. And I'm like, going back to Vegas? So what we doing?
Exactly.
Right? So as time went on, we ain't heard from Corrupt in months. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't letting this record sit. We gonna do something with this. So I told Gibb, I said, you know what? Let's just put it in the arsenal. And, you know, we just began to work more and just, you know, cultivate a relationship and, you know, a catalog of records. So we had released another song called Night Drive. Then we put out another song called TikTok. That got nominated for a Grammy.
Yes.
Word. Congratulations.
So that kind of, you know, gave us, you know, just a good working relationship. And then that's how Gipp and Worthy kind of came about, just to put things in a whole project format, but just different, you know, just a different style, different sound, different subject matter. And, you know, shout out to 112, you know, guest appearance by 112 on there. So, yeah,
at you.
you know, it was just one of those things to where it just lined up perfectly. And, you know, the beautiful thing about it is it's us. It was no one else behind it. No one else telling us what to do, what we need to be doing. We literally, you know, wrote these records ourselves. And, you know, shout out to, you know, my co-producer, Ronell Sessoms. He's the guy that, you know, I did a lot of production with. So, you know, it's all in-house. You know, no outside people, just all in-house, which is the beautiful thing. So I think that's why people are loving it so much, because we did this in the studio together. You know, so I think people could kind of hear that and feel that energy, you know, between us, because we really worked on this together.
Right now, how many? You got 5 million views right now and counting?
Yeah, we throughout all
Streaming platforms?
DSPs, we're close to 5 million streams.
Going on a billion.
Yeah, we gonna hit that billion. We gonna hit that billion.
Going on a billion.
Yes.
Hey man, we
Y'all heard it on Ikonic
we going
Konvo
for
first.
platinum. We going for
Ikonic
diamond.
Konvo first. Going on a billion. And they're not just gonna be nominated for that Grammy. They're gonna win the Grammy.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
heard TikTok was nominated. They're gonna win. Listen,
Yes, sir.
we speaking all that into existence now.
Exactly, man.
Yes, sir.
Ikonic Konvo said it first.
Absolutely.
Watch me. Hype man of the year.
Let it work. Let it work.
Bad
Oh, it's-
boy,
oh,
hype
we gonna
man,
make it
water
happen.
boy.
No, I was just happy with everything, you know, just seeing people come together, because
That's
it's just
dope.
so funny just having like brothers, like we've all been in the same space, and just, you know, even with 112, they're humble. Like Jason,
Oh, yeah, great
Jason's
guys.
my brother.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to him and his wife. Like they're just very humble souls. Because we were all together at the spot for Unique and Cheeks.
Yeah. Which is gonna happen pretty soon too. His birthday, 34 years in the business.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
DJ
wow.
Unique with Lost Boys.
Yeah, shout out to Unique.
Yeah. So Cassie's gonna be out there. Them boys, 34 years in the business. Talk about longevity.
That's amazing.
Yeah, remember he was there.
I remember,
He did
but
too.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Unique
That's
was
my guy.
DJing.
That's my guy.
That's
Yeah.
a long time, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like LL Cool J time right there, boy.
I know, but it's just amazing to see, you know, how much the circle has grown, but still maintain that level of humbleness and still willing to speak to people, to let people know that, you know, your dreams can come to reality if you put in the work. And that's what we've always been preaching here is, you know, like you said, to reiterate, consistency is the key.
Yep.
You know what I tell people? You know, real stars don't have to boast.
Big facts. I like that. That's the hashtag of the
Real
day right
superstars don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to reiterate what they've done.
there. Hashtag of the day right
Like
there.
that's now it's the people that's saying that.
Right.
It doesn't have to be us.
Let your work show, you know?
That's always been me. Like I've never been one
Let your walk be your
to really
talk.
do that.
Right.
Like I always let the work speak and other people speak for me because I've just never been that egotistical kind of person.
Dope.
Like I've always let the work speak for myself. But also too, you know, I've always kind of seen that, you know, once you start doing all that boasting and bragging, like it kind of turns people off.
Yep.
It does.
Yep.
It does.
Yeah.
It really
Yep.
does.
You
So-
know?
Mike's gonna kick me out real soon, but before Mike kick me out, for everybody that don't know how to follow you, people that want to get in contact with you, people that want to get the EP, people that want to support, people that want to whatever, however they can support
Get
you.
the EP.
You know what I'm saying? Get
Yeah,
the
go
EP.
get that Gipping Worthy.
Make sure get that ASAP.
Available
We're
on
gonna
all
drop the link
platforms.
under this
Yes.
under this live. We're gonna drop the link. Make sure you get the EP. How do people follow you? How do people support you?
King James Worthy, all social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/JamesWorthyMusic. And go get the new EP, Gipping Worthy,
Yes.
5-song EP, guest appearance
All
by 112. Available on all platforms.
Yes.
Whatever you got, Spotify, Apple, whatever it is, it's available. And yeah, man, just stay tuned. Keep watching us.
Appreciate
Yes.
you.
And before we go, huge shout out to Gib because he's also, you know, he teamed up with and sponsored one of our sponsors, which is the Georgia Spartans.
Yes,
So I wanted to shout him out for that and say thank you for supporting, even when I wasn't in town. But much love, appreciated. God bless.
And
Yes.
everybody, thank you again for joining us one more time on Iconic Konvo every first and third Monday, 8 to 9
Yes,
p.m.
on the best station there is Power 108.9.
Mr. James Worthy, thank you for joining us.
Oh,
and
thank y'all, man. Thank
we
y'all so
appreciate
much.
you. And to all our listeners and followers, we appreciate you. We love you. And have a great night, guys. It's a wrap. We out.